Hey, are you the maintenance man?
Hi.
Yeah, I'm the XO in loading bay 20. Yeah, our oxygen is really leaking there. Can you come and fix it?
Hi.
Well, can I tell my captain when?
When what?
When you're going to fix the leak.
After.
After what?
After. This episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Take a ride, check it out.
Reflux capacitors, fluxing, crew to stations. Scanning for The Karate Kid, 1984. Prepare to rewind in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, Rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I am your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the PaulJPowers.com Powers.
Hey, Captain, I'm ready to chop down this review of this movie. Whatever.
That's great.
I'm more action, less
sounds like
words.
you need to find more balance, Paul.
Yeah. Otherwise, I get squished like grape.
Exactly. Also, for this discussion of the film, The Karate Kid, we welcome aboard for the first time martial arts instructor and digital content creator Eric E.T. Trinidad. Hey, E.T.
Hey now, how's it going, everybody? Happy to be here.
Awesome. Glad you're here. And I will say we are going to have a Patch Hicks from Feel and Film podcast and an original series podcast, but be praying for him. Recently his town got hit by a tornado, and his power's out. So he's not here tonight, but we wish you all the best, Patch, and hope there's no more tornadoes ever again near you.
Hey.
Now that you have a quick flyby of who we are, Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for The Karate Kid?
All right. The Three Ninjas was
junk?
released August 7th, 1992. It's rated PG and runs an hour and 24 minutes. It's
Paul,
directed... Yes?
Paul,
Yeah.
how did you get Three Ninjas, Karate Kid confused for Three Ninjas?
What are you talking about? You said we're reviewing the movie with the Karate Kids in him.
Just one Karate Kid, Paul.
There's only one karate. No, there's three kids that do karate.
Okay, but those kids in Three Ninjas do ninjutsu, not karate.
Oh, it's all the same. Wait, are you telling me I watched the wrong movie again?
Apparently.
That could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
Fine, I'll go back and watch the real one. All right.
Glad we have a time machine for your slip-ups here.
Yes. Whew. All right. The Karate Kid was released June 22nd, 1984. One with Ralph Macchio, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And just the first one, not
Just
the
the
second or third one. The first.
And not the the Kung Fu Kid either.
Oh my gosh.
All right. It runs 6 minutes over the 2-hour mark and is rated PG. It was directed by John G. Avildsen? Whatever, John.
The Alvison. Yeah, that's right.
And was written by Robert Mark Kamen. Sorry, Robert. With lead stars being Ralph Macchio, Pat Morita, and Elizabeth Shue. The music was composed by Bill Conti. Are you ready for the box office trivia?
I'm ready. Eric, are you ready to help guess where this ranked in 1984 box office?
You got it.
Awesome. And everyone else here in live in chat, you're welcome to guess as well. Go for it, Paul.
All right. The Karate Kid was made for about $8 million and earned over $90 million at the box office.
Okay.
Given this fact, how high in the box office do you think it ranks among the movies released theatrically in 1984? We'll go for the top 50.
Top 50. Okay. Eric or E.T., where do you think it's ranked in the top 50?
I don't know. That's a heavy loaded. A lot of good movies came out in '84.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters went up there.
Yep.
I would say it's probably top 5.
Okay. So
Maybe
which of those
maybe
numbers?
4.
4? Okay. 4. Strong. Let's see. Dale guesses 12. I'm going to guess, let's see. I'm going to guess 7. I'm going to lowball just a tad. And I think that is it. So, Paul, where did it? Yeah, I'm not saying anyone else in chat. Where did it actually end up?
Okay, well, according to the-numbers.com, the captain hit it right on the head with number
What?
7.
Oh my gosh!
Whoa.
Okay. I mean, well, I do know my movies. Awesome. Okay. Well, it'll be great to find. Thank you for those factoids, Paul. And
You're welcome.
And it'll be great to see if any of them factor into our memory mind melt or subsequent roundtable discussion of The Karate Kid. But before we get there, let's see if Alice can locate our target film.
Alert, alert. Target located. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
The odds are on their side. Experience is on their side. But now he's got someone on his side.
Fighting always last answer.
Someone who knows what it takes
Always kind.
and is willing to share it.
Good on your side.
You're the best friend I ever had.
You pretty okay too.
The Karate Kid.
Now playing at a theater near you. Check.
Yes, check your local listings if they are in fact playing at a theater near you. I want to see. Some of the times I wish there was just movie theaters that just showed old movies, like from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I think that'd be fantastic. It's a multi-$100 idea right there for you.
Right.
I showed on film too. That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Showed on film. That would be really cool. Anyway, that commercial probably brought back some memories about The Karate Kid. But to give you some context for the things we collectively remembered about before our rewatch, here is our memory mind melt synopsis of this film. Vinny's cousin moves to the West Coast, picks fights, is outclassed, and gets beat up for liking a girl. Annie with a Y. Maybe it's Jenny or Becky. Also to note, the best school dances have dancing showers in them. Daniel catches a fly with chopsticks. I guess that means he can accomplish anything. So Arnold from Happy Days trains the latchkey kid by waxing cars, sanding floors, and painting fences instead of learning karate. Bullying is settled at the karate tournament finals with a crane kick to the face. That's illegal. I mean, really, all of that's it, right? Except for Annie. This girl's name was Allie. So
yeah.
definitely our memories were deceptive. I kid you guys not, I could not remember her name for the life of me until like 5 minutes into the movie, and we're still in credits, and I'm like, it's Allie, of course. Take it. So, anyway. That all that being said, based on those memories, as very flawed as they were, what rating did they lead you to predict before you rewatched this film? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? Eric, what was your prediction for Karate Kid?
I predicted it to be a classic.
Classic, awesome. Like, where does that come from? Why did you think it was going to turn out so good?
I'm big on like martial arts, the Rocky style, underdog kind of movies. Those always stand up to the test of time. So
yeah,
that's why I chose the classic.
Awesome. Paul, how about you?
I enjoyed watching this as a kid. I even had some of the action figures. I think they were based on the cartoon back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it a little bit afterwards, after Kid, and enjoying it then. So I predicted classic. I'm hoping it holds up.
Yeah. You know what? I definitely predict classic too. I wonder if some of that comes from enjoying Cobra Kai so much. So we'll see if it sort of holds up to that. And for our bonus content, in case you're curious, we will be reviewing season 5 of Cobra Kai.
Whoa.
So be on the lookout for that, all you who support the pod. But now it's time now that we've shared our predictions, be interesting to see if those come true. But first, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about The Karate Kid. Let's spin up our
Best bets.
Yeah, the best bits about this film. And let's start with E.T. What's one thing you liked about The Karate Kid?
I really like the metaphors in training, like wax on, wax off, paint the fence, sand the floor. That didn't look like martial arts until Miyagi, he was getting frustrated. Miyagi had to like show him what's up. You're like, hey man, all that muscle memory, repetition, have that the repetition is a mother of skill there. I would have loved to have heard Miyagi say, I've asked for 2 codes, not 1.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
He was already a jerk. He would be a master jerk then.
At that moment where he like goes all out, all out for a student against Daniel, and Daniel realizes, oh my gosh, you haven't trained me this whole time. That is just such a fantastic moment. It just thrills me every time I see it, even though I've seen this movie several times.
Yeah, it's like the floodgates open. It's like,
exactly. But that is so cool. And that's similar to something I liked. It's a piece of it. I really appreciated this film's theme of boys gravitating to father figures. Like, we need that in our lives in some capacity. And some of us can have great mentors and father figures like Daniel has with Miyagi, and some of us, like Johnny has with Kreese, it's not so good. But that's like there's a desire there, I believe, in the hearts of boys and even men to have a mentor of some sort. So I really like that this sort of had a story with that theme within it. Paul, what's something that you like? Maybe it's the theme from Bill Conti or something else.
It is. It's a Bill Conti score, actually. Not the whole soundtrack, but what I really like is the Asian sounding music,
like the pan flute. I think
the pan flute and the strumming chords with it. Those songs are on my playlist. I listen to all those other ones can stay in the 80s for all I care, even if it's a cruel summer.
I like You're the Best. I like Cruel. I like the more contemporary version, the cover of Bananarama's Cruel Summer, but I like those songs a lot too. But yeah, Bill Conti's score is fantastic. That was also one of my other likes, Paul. So apparently we're on the same. Like, I suppose so. But yeah, I feel like it just captures the emotions of this film really, really well. E.T., what's something else you liked about Karate Kid?
Another thing that I liked about it was, you guys hit it on the nail with the soundtrack. I was like, man, you're taking my things here.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Wow.
One of the things though was Elizabeth Shue was my first like childhood crush.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Who didn't?
Yes.
I was like, Allie.
Yes. Though it's funny. I'm curious. My wife actually was like saying that she looks so much older than him, even though we looked it up and I think Ralph Macchio was older by a year or so. Did that throw you guys at all, or feel like you didn't see them as an on-screen couple at all? It didn't for me, but I'm curious.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. Like their age difference. To me, they all look like they're in college. So. I mean, Daniel. Now, I will say, Ralph Macchio did look like he could be a teenager easily. I mean, in high school,
baby face.
Yeah.
Yes,
but everyone else, I mean, unfortunately, that's just par for the course.
Yeah, very true, very true. Okay, so music, Elizabeth Shue.
It's weird. It didn't look creepy to me. I wonder if
I didn't think so.
If you reversed the gender roles, if he looked a lot older than she did, if it would come across as creepy.
I don't know. I don't feel like she looked that much older.
No, if you had a guy that was obviously looking like he was 25 and she looked like she was 15.
I guess, yeah, I could see that being.
Anyway, it just popped in my head. We don't need to discuss what pops in my head.
Let's discuss what pops in Paul's head. I think that'd be great. But Paul, I would like to know one other thing you liked before we get to our classic makers for the Karate Kid. As we just blitz through these, jeez, guys.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things that I also liked about the Karate Kid is the cast. I think everyone just brought their A game, and it was so enjoyable to see all these people play these characters. It's hard to imagine other people playing them, and these characters are so, I guess, memorable since I watched it as a kid. So I really think the cast did a good job. There wasn't anyone who I thought was overacting or maybe underacting that took away from any scenes, which is.
I mean, I think his name was Dutch. I feel like he was a bit overboard, but
That was Chad McQueen.
Dude,
okay.
Yeah.
No, he was the one of the Cobra Kai's. Like I would be scared to fight. Like,
well, yes, but I feel like he seemed way overboard, and there wasn't a character reason why that I could tell.
no, it's just I remember high school. Some guys were a little bit more mean than others. You know.
All right.
And since I'm sorry, these were all college age people coming at a teenager, it made it even more scary.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
really brought the fire towards Daniel.
Yeah.
Yes,
Especially
absolutely.
right before they were about to start the tournament. He's like,
Mhm.
I'm like, whoa, dude. I'm like, where's the hell that coming from? I thought
Yeah.
the beef was just like mostly Johnny, but
Yeah.
There's only one person in the Karate Kid franchise where I was more scared for Daniel besides Dutch, and that was Mike Barnes in Karate
Yeah.
Kid 3.
3.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was Psycho.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So it unfortunately or fortunately it fits.
Wow. Okay, so all the characters, yeah, I can. I am really trying to wrap my head. Like I said, Dutch, that didn't really make much sense to me, but I see what you guys are saying. Yeah, but I can't think of any other characters where they felt like it's just like, what are you doing right now?
Right. I mean, even I love the relationship. You talked about the dads, like even with the mom, the stepmom.
Yeah.
Or not the stepmom, the single
Daniel's
mother.
mom. Yeah.
She liked to embarrass him.
Which is so
In the car.
relatable.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I could totally.
And she also didn't take any of his guff about like, oh no, it's just sunglasses. Oh, I'm just and
Take him
that
off.
take them off.
You're
Now.
high. That's the
Yeah.
first one.
Yeah.
What are you on?
Exactly. I love that when he tells, like, he says he fell off his bike, and then when he tells Miyagi about that, he's like, oh, amazing you didn't hurt hand, and he's like, oh. You got me.
There were some good writing moments.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like if you
yes.
fell off a bike, you're gonna hurt your hand because you're gonna try to stop yourself. Yeah.
Oh, you don't stop yourself with your face, Paul? Oh, I thought that's what we all did.
you can try not to.
All right, then, guys, let's get to the things we loved most about Karate Kid, our classic makers. I'm gonna actually start this time because this sort of flows with what Paul was saying about all the characters, and that's just Pat Maria's portrayal of Mr. Miyagi. It's just so perfect. The way, I think a lot of it has to do with the way he's written, has so much wisdom he's imparting. He has this father figure. I love how this parallel of Daniel lost his dad and Mr. Miyagi lost his both wife and child, and they're sort of filling it's interesting in Rocky. If you guys, I think you both have seen Rocky. Is that accurate? How they say there's this line where I think Rocky's saying to, I forget who it is, but talking about Adrian, that they fill each other's gaps. And in this, that's kind of what's happening with Daniel and Mr. Miyagi. They're filling in those gaps that they don't have in a father-son type of relationship as opposed to a romantic one. But
you know what's weird? I talked about being creepy with the age difference.
Is this the whole friend thing?
Daniel says you're the best friend best friend I ever had. That wasn't. It's not creepy to me. It's like
no, it's not.
I don't know what it is with the '80s, like with Marty McFly and Doc, like having this huge gap range, but it seemed to work back then.
Yeah. Now I will say with Marty and Doc, they did seem more like friends than like mentor mentee.
Sure,
but then of course this that seemed a little strange to call him a friend. I feel like it would have rang a little more true if he said you're just like a dad to me or something like that. But friend, fine, I'll take it.
I'd take friend over dad, but that's me.
All right, how about where do you land on that, ET?
With Marty or
no, with Daniel.
Marty's my dad.
No, with yeah, I could totally see that I could relate to that kind of relationship that Daniel had with Mr. Miyagi, had kind of with my instructor.
Absolutely, yeah.
With martial arts, having a good instructor, you don't just get someone that teaches you how to kick or fight. They teach you. They're kind of like your brother, or they could be your psychiatrist. It's you don't just learn how to kick or fight. They teach you how to be one with yourself being physically, mentally, spiritually, have good character.
Yeah.
So it's all about having that special relationship. That's what separates traditional martial arts from like a martial arts gym that just teaches meatheads and just teaches just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
can relate to that, having that kind of relationship.
Absolutely. All right, so Pat Maria as Mr. Miyagi, my classic maker.
He almost didn't get the part, because from Happy Days, they were like,
that's right. He's too
jokey.
funny.
I'm like,
Yeah.
And then he put on that voice, and then solidified.
And apparently he was gonna. I also read or heard somewhere that it's in the trivia that I was looking at, that they considered taking out the scene where he's drunk, that whole scene, but that was such a powerful scene.
Yeah, it was. Like. Humanized him for sure.
Exactly. Yes. E.T. What was? I can't think of a segue. I was going to say like the most humanizing thing about this movie for you, but what was your classic maker for Karate Kid?
Classic maker for me was just like I said before, like the perseverance. Just never giving up, never surrendering, just confronting your fears. And I myself could relate because I was kind of like that growing up. I got into fights, I got picked on. Like I said, I want to learn karate so I can learn how to kick butt, and then I found out it's not about kicking butt, it's about, training, not having to fight, ever since,
exactly.
Yeah. Right after I started learning martial arts, I never got into fights. I'm like, I always learned how to diffuse the situations, never got to that.
All that training down the tubes now.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Yeah. I know. Refund. No, just kidding. But it's fine. It's a good therapy session, and it's a good respect amongst others. And like, you punched me in the face. Hey, cool, thank you. It's really fun.
Getting punched in the face is fun. I think you went to the wrong dojo.
No, but that sort of like finding. I think being in a common ground, being like having this fairness of like you're learning together, and you're like learning how to fight so that you don't have to fight. That sort of, I think is that what you're meaning, E.T.? Or am I
it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. So that's the old saying there.
I don't think I've heard that. That's really great. I like that. I guess that leaves Paul. What is your classic maker, Paul?
My classic maker.
Oh, he got it too.
Oh, nice.
Is actually something that E.T. already said. And that is as much as like the final kick and the final hurrah at the end is so rewarding. That reveal of the wax on, wax off karate training is just the best part of the film for me.
So good.
They tried to like duplicate it in other things, like in Cobra Kai. I think it's season 1 or season 2 where he tried to do the same thing with Robbie. Daniel tries to do that with Robbie. And
season 1,
it's the payoff isn't as done as well. And everything.
Sort of know it's coming.
The way they set this up in the movie, and it actually it takes place over days. I mean, Daniel has dates in the middle of it. It's a long thing, and then the payoff comes after that. So they did a lot of good setup and payoff for the reveal, and I thought that was the best part of the movie for me.
Yeah, very cool. Like I said earlier, I love that moment. I feel like it's one of like, it's weird for me to say it's one of cinema's best moments.
I wouldn't argue with anyone who said that. If that's on anybody's best cinema moments list, especially when you don't see it coming, you know what I mean? The first time,
exactly.
It's like that reveal is if it's not spoiled for you, it's a great reveal.
Yeah, I think when I watched it with my daughter, she didn't know it was coming. I think she was pretty like taken aback, like that, like that was a cool moment for her. Well, awesome, guys. Those are some great things to like about. I was about to say Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid. But not every movie is perfect. So let's get. Oh, wait. So I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just looking through my notes again. I realized that there's one more thing I liked that I completely forgot about. You know what? That's the Untold Podcast. The Untold Podcast is a speculative fiction podcast utilizing the genres of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, among others, in order to engage the culture's imagination from a Christian worldview. Every month, Nathan James Norman produces and narrates a new story presented in a unique and dynamic way. Check out the Untold Podcast at untoldpodcast.com to listen and leave them a review on Apple Podcasts.
You know, that's great, Francisco, but
Yeah.
what does the Untold Podcast have to do with the Karate Kid?
Oh, that's super easy, Paul. See, at the end, Mr. Miyagi does this like clap thing and almost magic guises Daniel's
Oh, yeah.
leg, or was it shoulder? Leg.
It was his leg at that
Leg,
at-
yeah,
in the middle
at
of the
that
movie
point.
was his shoulder. That's how
right,
he
that's
knew
right.
to ask for the leg later.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
The leg. And so that's very magical, very fantastic, much like the fantasy stories in the Untold Podcast.
Oh, so more stories like the Karate Kid, check out in the Untold Podcast.
Not really. Okay, fine. It's not that connected. You caught me, Paul. You caught me. But how about some trivia about the Karate Kid?
Oh, yes, that would be better. Thank you.
Okay. Did you all realize that the extras were so caught up in the tournament scene at the end that they would boo William Zabka, who played Johnny Lawrence, even when the cameras were not rolling?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Zabka's mother, who was in the crowd, kept trying to tell people that he was actually a very nice in real life. So my question to you all is, whether or not you were any good at it, what was something that your mom would still encourage you in? Maybe playing an instrument or, playing t-ball, whatever it was, art. What did your mom encourage you in, regardless of what other people said? So let's start with Paul.
Everything. My mom was really encouraging. Something that she would still encourage me in is my drawings. Like every time that I don't draw enough, as you well know, still working on a couple projects. But every time I post it, she's always very encouraging about it.
Awesome.
So.
Very cool. How about you, E.T.?
My mom would always try to make me push to play piano.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm like, every time she has like her friends over, play piano. I'm like, Mom, I'm not a monkey. I play piano if I want to. It's
Yes,
just,
you are. Dance.
Yeah. No. I remember like being a teenager and like she's like, go play. They'll give you money. I'm like, okay. And then I started playing, and then all of a sudden, like all my relatives started putting cash on the piano. I'm like,
Oh,
nice.
wow. Nice. Very cool. Awesome. So was that better, Paul?
Yes, much better. Great
Okay.
trivia, Francisco.
Thank you, Paul.
And now that we've all had some trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, our awesome rewinders, had about the Karate Kid.
All right. And these come from Facebook. And I imagine there were probably a lot more, but because we were right down to the limit for when we got an answer to the riddle for what movie to go to.
Jared.
This time.
It's all Jared's
thanks,
fault.
Jared. It is Jared's fault. But you rewinders, you can help us. Listen to our ship's logs. Like a few days after these main episodes drop, we'll drop a ship's log with the riddle for what movie we should cover next if you help us answer it. And so thank you again, David Gardner, for answering this one. But if you answer those a little sooner, that'll help us get these out. Otherwise, we don't know what movie to cover. Anyway, first off, Wardale White says, I remember it wasn't this Karate Kid, but I like this especially. But I like this movie, especially Pat Morita. To see him hot from Happy Days to transform into this more reserved character was amazing to see.
The Who Will Save Generation X podcast says he remembers regretting never going to golf and stuff despite living only 20 minutes away from it.
Oh. Yeah. Have you ever been to golf and stuff, E.T.?
No, there's places like that around here where I live. But I did visit a few of the settings where it took place, like
Cool.
like his apartment. I went to
Oh,
the
cool.
apartment.
Yeah.
There's a gate right outside it, though. You can't get in, but you can say, hey, there's the pool.
And it's the apartment is still there, despite what the director says in the commentary.
Oh, really? Does he say it's gone?
Yeah, he said, "Oh, they tore it down."
No,
it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I lived in the valley for about 10 plus years, there would be like for rent signs on apartments every now and then. I was always checking on that every so often. That place never had a place for rent because I was always filled.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Even with the pool so low, that's good.
I think they got rid of the pool.
Oh, okay. That's sad.
Yeah. I could be wrong.
I was going to ask you
I
something.
gotta go back and check.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, Paul, didn't you? We went to golf and stuff, didn't we? You and I?
No, it was called something else. That was near Magic Mountain. What was it?
Yeah, yeah. But I thought
Yeah.
that was golf and stuff, but it was just they
something else.
changed it. They didn't have like the water rides and stuff.
Right. Well, the one that they went to, I think it was in Ventura. There was a golf and stuff there, and there's one more towards downtown LA. But I think the one they filmed at was the one in Ventura.
Okay.
But I never went there when the water slide was up. Unfortunately, by the time I got there.
All right. Well, there you go.
But somebody else said it was filmed somewhere else, like Northern California, which doesn't really make sense.
Probably was filmed in Georgia, like something else recently. Anyway.
Oh, Cobra Kai, maybe?
I know, right? Everything's filmed in Georgia now.
Yeah, right. Well, guys, no, it's not filmed in Georgia. The things we didn't like about this movie. So let's get into our dislikes.
Dislikes.
Worst clothes.
All right. And I'm going to kick us off with that. Dang it. I said it, didn't I?
Kicked it.
Yeah. With something I didn't like about The Karate Kid. And that's, this is kind of, I don't know if this is silly or not, but so I just said how Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi is so great. Really like him. I don't like that he steals this other guy's black belt at the end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think that's more of a comedic thing that happens, but it's still like, you're stealing someone's belt. That's not cool.
Here's the thing. I was watching some of the behind the scenes thing. The writer who was basically trained from Miyagi way back, not Mr. Miyagi, but the martial arts back in Asia.
This is Robert Kamen, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't have belts back where he was. In fact, the instructor, anytime a student asked, "Hey, do I get a belt?" he would just open up a drawer and hand him a black belt. Say, "Here you go." Because back then it was like Miyagi, how he was trained. It was all about like focusing and getting better and stuff. He said it was the U.S. who came up with this system of colorized belts and getting people to like work for like little goals here and there.
Advance.
Right. Where in Asia there, it was all just like, well, you just got to follow your mentor, and do better.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe better than I do.
Miyagi, what I was saying is Miyagi probably grew up in that, and he wanted Daniel to compete, and he thought Daniel should compete. So he was like, all right, I'll play by their rules and I'll snag this. And they probably have extra. So I understand it's stealing.
Yeah, if someone stole my black belt, I'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, because I mean, some black belts even have like the person's name on it and stuff. So it doesn't. It may not work to steal that, but
you got to tuck that in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hide it away.
But yeah, I seem to recall that. I don't know if this is sort of myth or if this is a real thing, but in like traditional, like old school martial arts, like back in the day, I don't know
like 20 years ago.
I know, like 100 years ago or more.
Yeah.
You started off with a white belt because that's just your belt you had, and it got dingier and dingier and dingier the more you worked until it was really dark and almost black. So, and that was what signified you being a master or whatever. But I don't know how true.
Different regions, maybe.
Yeah, I heard that one too before.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Jeez.
Come from the martial arts instructor here. I'm just kidding. It's not a marketing ploy. It's about reaching goals.
Karate Kid, the T-shirt. Karate Kid, the lunchbox. Karate Kid, the breakfast circle. Karate Kid, the flamethrower. The kids like. Last but not least, Karate Kid, the doll. Mr. Miyagi. Okay. Enough frivolity. Let's get to some more frivolity. E.T., what's something you didn't like about the Karate Kid?
I did not like that Freddy ditched Daniel after getting his butt kicked. We don't see Freddy anymore. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, he succumbed to peer pressure.
I thought he was a great character. They introduced at the beginning, and all of a sudden you're like, he's gone. And what happened to him?
Yep.
Yeah, just because his friends are like, "Oh, where'd you find this guy?" I was like, "Dude, yeah." I totally agree with you, Et. That was such an uncool move.
Yeah.
I mean, I realized they just met, so that it's not like they have years of friendship that he's abandoning him. But still, that's like you said, not cool. I don't know about what a better phrase of that. Just cowardly, maybe, or yeah.
It's also weird writing to go through that setup to introduce a character just to like casually write him off and never hear about him again.
Well, how else do you get Daniel to the beach?
You put someone else in the character there that's going to last longer. Like,
you actually make someone that. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
like,
yeah. You don't just throw away the character. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like one of Allie's girlfriends, that she could have been there, and she could have been the one to.
Oh yeah, and sort of like, hey, we're going to this.
Yeah,
that would make a lot more sense, actually.
Right?
Yeah. Good point, Paul. Maybe you should write the next Craig.
I think in Cobra Kai, when they're training in the meat locker, he says, "I have a buddy that has a meat locker we could train at," or he's in the background it says Fernandez Meat Company or something like that. So maybe that could be like a small Easter egg. That maybe there's
that'd be cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
I never picked up on that. Oh, that's cool. I feel like he's
going to be the next villain in the last season.
I know.
We will get to predictions. Yeah. I have a interesting prediction for season 6, but anyway,
I can't wait.
Back to Karate Kid. Paul, what's something you didn't like about either you've always not liked it or this time through? Especially this time through, I should say.
There were some great moments in great writing, and there were some moments in writing where I thought it was lacking, and unfortunately I didn't write them down. Though the one thing that I did write down is those opening credits sure were slow and boring.
It's the way they are back then.
Back in the day, I know. I mean, they didn't even have the good Bill Conti Japanese music going, but it's a traveling montage.
I know, right?
Which is better than white text on black background, like some of these cold openings do. So fair. I appreciate that, but
it's not as long as Superman. That's for sure.
That is pretty.
But that had a great score to go with it. So,
true,
and it had cool effects that you really hadn't seen before with the sound effects. Yeah. So I'm not going to knock that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair, Paul. Yeah, that opening part is slow and boring. Some of the and maybe this goes to the Ryan that doesn't really land so well. This is something else that I just liked is Allie being kind of, I don't know.
Watch it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll say a brat in the ugliest sense I guess I can. So when that conversation with Johnny rides down onto the beach, and he takes the radio and says, I'll give it back to you if you just talk. If we can just talk, and she agrees to it, and then he gives it back. She takes it, and she just turns on the radio again, and it's like, okay, you know what? You didn't have to talk.
She was going to talk then. She's with her friends. They talk later.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just thought it was not very.
I thought it was more rude of her to take Daniel's ball and deliberately kick it like way out into the ocean.
I mean, true. I just didn't think it was a very honorable move on her part to say, "Fine, I'll talk," and then essentially go back on that right away. So yes, I guess you could say, "Oh, I didn't mean now." Well, you could have said that.
She didn't mean that, obviously.
But was it that type of Ryan or other things, Paul, that you were talking about?
Other things. I can't remember I wish I could remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
I wish I wrote it down, but I didn't.
Was it? Oh, you know what? We're talking about slow down parts. Like you were saying, slow and boring in the beginning. Did it slow down for you at all when? And I almost feel like this is taken out of the TV edits because I don't ever remember this except when I more recently saw the Karate Kid. When they're at the beach, he's like trying to find balance in the waves, and then he sees Mr. Miyagi doing the crane kick on the. It's not a stump. I don't know what that is.
No, but it's like a pier post or something.
Yeah. Exactly. And then they come up back to the truck, and there are these guys with beers, and that whole interaction it's cool seeing Mr. Miyagi chop the beer balls, but I feel like all that wasn't really needed. It didn't really add to it. Sort of slowed down right there.
Yeah,
it was kind of cringy and racist a little bit.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
I think it was edited for TV because of those reasons.
Yeah. Because I don't feel like if there was an added element to like Mr. Miyagi always facing racism, I mean, I feel like you get enough of that with just the whole Zanzibar, Banzanar.
Are you okay? Are you having a stroke?
The Japanese internment camp in California. I feel like you get enough of that there, but regardless. All right, well, fine, Paul. You didn't like some of the dialogue, even though you can't remember what it was. Right. Let's go back to you, E.T. What can you remember about the things you didn't like about Karate Kid?
It was weird when the spaghetti fell on Daniel, and then all of a sudden, all these adults start laughing at him. I'm like, there's no compassionate adult in there whatsoever to help him.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, that's because they're all rich and better than him.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the help back there.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
I honestly feel like that's so similar to something that I've never experienced. Like
Good
either
for you, yeah.
No.
With the spaghetti spill on you, I hope not.
Yes, I've never experienced that either. But this whole trope of like, let's say it's like a high school comedy or whatever. A kid walks into the lunchroom and everyone stops, looks at them because of something.
Yeah.
Kids don't care. They're not paying attention to you when someone walks in.
We'll talk about that a little bit later in our Cobra Kai review.
But
apparently it's a theme in the Karate Kid universe.
I just thought that was silly, especially that adults would have done that. Or, I mean, maybe they'd be like, "Oh, what's that big loud noise?" But for them to just start laughing, that didn't make sense. All right, Paul, what was the last thing you disliked before we get to our tragic makers?
All right, I wrote down: old man can take out top-ranking Karate Kid students in one hit or kick.
When, Mr. Miyagi can.
Yes. Yeah. So when Daniel's being chased by the Cobra Kai gang and those skeleton outfits are so cool. Like even today, I think they hold up well. Like just those outfits. But anyway,
absolutely.
Mr. Miyagi jumps over the fence and takes each one of them out in one like hit or kick.
Yeah.
Right. And they stay down. It's not. Yeah. And these are like black belts and brown belts, like the top of their class. I mean, like. It's just so unbelievable. That took me out.
And some of the kids were trying to tell Johnny to stop, and he still beat him up.
Yeah. Could it be? I think I've heard this argument. This isn't my own, but it could be like, at least I don't think I ever thought this.
That he hit him in the right places, like pressure points where he knew where to take them down.
I wasn't thinking that, but it seemed like Johnny was high on weed, so maybe that could have done something.
That's a depressor, not an upper.
Well, okay, it's going to slow you down then. That's what I'm saying. It would have slowed Johnny down and so he wouldn't have been at his A game.
I believe Dutch would have went for it.
I don't think Dutch was with them there, was he? I think it was Bobby, Tommy, and
I thought all five of them were there.
Maybe,
but he wasn't like active, like speaking part. Yeah.
Okay. So, but you thought that was unbelievable. Did that seem unbelievable to you, E.T. at all, or?
Going back now, but when I was a kid, I'm like, oh my god, he's like these godlike martial arts powers, and take everybody out.
But with your martial arts knowledge that you have, is that even plausible?
No, it would take more than just one. That's movie Hollywood.
Yeah.
One punch, you're done.
Yeah.
You know what else is movie Hollywood? 25-year-olds playing 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Fine, Paul.
All the time.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, guys. Well, let's get to the things we hate most about Cobra Kai. And
not Cobra Kai.
Dang it. Karate Kid. E.T., what's the thing you hate most about the Karate Kid?
The thing I hated most about it is that, it was like he trained for 2-3 months, went through this tournament.
I want to say it's closer to 6 months, but maybe it was that.
Yeah. It was at least 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Short amount of time. These guys been training all their lives, and then he just comes in and just takes them all out. I know it's part of the story, but that's
Hollywood
still,
magic.
Hollywood magic right there.
Yeah.
And his technique isn't the greatest. I'm like, even to this day, I'm like looking at it. I'm like, oh, no. Yeah.
Do you think there's an element of cockiness that Cobra Kai had that was their downfall? Their downfall?
Yeah, they probably underestimated him and
but it wasn't just Cobra Kai; it was other.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So you think he'd get taken out pretty soon,
Right.
pretty early? Yeah.
I think
a lot
those
of
Topanga
Cobras.
Tigers or something could have taken him out.
He even fought Lamar from Revenge of the Nerds.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, did he? Oh, my God.
One of them was Lamar.
Oh,
Yeah, he's in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
That's before he went to space camp.
I will say I've never seen Revenge of the Nerds, so I'm not entirely sure who you guys are talking about, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Yes, Ashley, yes, there's 14 instead of the senior high school. Yes, exactly. I know he was. Anyway. So
It's kind of like when Star Wars, where Rey magically becomes force sensitive and starts kicking Kylo Ren's butt. I'm just kidding.
Well, you know what? Miyagi does have these magic karate powers, so maybe he used use those to get rid of them. Yeah.
I believe a newbie, quote unquote newbie, someone who's only been practicing a few months, can wiggle their way through a tournament based on luck and technical skills. Like you were saying, the overconfidence, but to get all the way to the finish line, I agree with you, Eric. That's unfortunately not realistic.
No.
And in all the training he did, he didn't even spar. He did mostly kata, hitting the mitts with Miyagi.
Well, that was just it. It's like everything that was coming after him, he would deflect and hit, which he would get the points for. Like that can work in a tournament. It can. It doesn't mean it will.
Yeah.
With my training, I'm like, when I teach my kids or my students, I'm like, okay, it's like practicing music theory and not playing a piano. You gotta spar.
Yeah.
Get used to it. And,
exactly.
Yeah. So without sparring, well, maybe that's a credit to Mr. Miyagi's teaching there.
Well, they did show a little bit of, I don't know if you would call it sparring. I guess not, with him wearing the catchers. But I know that's just hitting, but maybe they did it's in the cutscenes, maybe.
Maybe it's in a cutscene. There you go.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Help me out, guys, because my mind's cutting out. Was that your Tragic Maker, Paul, or was that yours, ET?
Mine.
ET's, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Paul, what thing did you hate most about the Karate Kid?
Allie deserves better.
Oh,
Daniel's a jerk.
Daniel's
He's a hot-headed jerk.
He's like a hothead, that's for sure. Yes.
And Allie's trying to help him, and he yells at her, "Hey, get off my case!" I'm like, all right. If I was Allie, I'd be like, all right, I'm off your case forever.
But we gotta deal with this, Paul.
I guess she's into guys half her age. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
No, but I just felt bad for her, with Daniel as some would call the villain of this flick.
Yeah, I know. Did that originate on YouTube or on
YouTube
How I Met Your Mother? Is a YouTube thing? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if
it was around the same time.
It was around the same time they came out. Yeah. I want to meet the real Karate Kid, Billy Zabka.
By the way, Ralph Macchio has a book. I'm looking it up right now. Ralph Macchio book, and he talks about. I listened to his audiobook.
Does he narrate it himself?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And it's basically 5.5 hours of just the karate. It's called Waxing On. And it's just mainly about the Karate Kid films and working on Cobra Kai that span. He talks a little bit here and there about My Cousin Vinny and about the Outsiders.
Yeah,
here and there, but it's mainly just him and from his perspective of that whole journey of the Karate Kid. So I'd recommend checking it out. It's called Waxing On by Ralph Macchio. You can pay me later, Ralph.
I know, right? Pre-plug.
I'm going to ask you guys this. So with the spoilers for Rocky coming up right now, guys. So if you've never seen Rocky,
it was directed by the same guy.
It was directed by, yes. Yeah. That's why I'm bringing it up as a case study. I think when Rocky, it's really believable that this
he lost
underdog,
at the end.
Nobody. Well, no, I thought they draw. Didn't they have a draw at the end?
No,
or
he
did
lost.
he win on? That's right. He did lose, but he wasn't knocked out. And
No,
Apollo
he just the whole thing. And this is very spoilers. The whole thing is he just wanted to fight in the big fight. That was his goal, and he got to. And that's why people like cheered it. But
exactly,
he wound up losing.
He loses, and I feel like that is more authentic than And like Ashley here in chat is saying, Trackmaker Daniel being as good as he was without intensive training.
Right.
Great theory, but not all practical. Yeah, and so I almost wonder, would it have been would you guys have been let down if we get to the end and he does get injured and
that ending is so
Miyagi.
Good with the kick and the music swelling and Miyagi nodding. I can't imagine a better ending. Like,
all right, fine.
Yeah,
fine,
you can't.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially with all that, with the great job that Billy Zabka was doing. You
To sell it?
you really wanted to punch him in the face, and you wanted Daniel to get that win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
But I mean, we're just saying how unbelievable it is. So I'm just wondering if there'd be another way to.
I don't know where the balance is. It's squished great either way you go. So you got to go for the feel good, I guess.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's what we all want is the feel good at the end of a movie like that. All right. Well, then that leaves my least feeling good thing about the Karate Kid.
Tragic Maker.
This is way far afield from what you guys were saying, but Allie's parents, I mean, you're rich, awesome, that's fine. You cannot like that your daughter's dating Daniel, but that doesn't mean you have to be unkind about him and be like, it's not that boy from Reseda, is it? Yeah. And it's just like, they don't even.
You know what? If you didn't take your daughter to the Reseda school anyway, instead of going to the Encino school, by the way, I lived in the Valley. They are like miles apart from each other. It's not going to happen. So
that they would be at the same high school.
They would never be at the same high school.
Yeah. But it seemed like they could. That's something I appreciate about. This is a little spoiler for Cobra Kai season 1. That Ralph Macchio, I think, having this experience, invites his daughter Sam's boyfriend over for dinner to meet him, and gives him a chance.
Yeah.
Yep. But that doesn't pan out at all. I would have appreciated something like that from Allie's parents.
Well, that was going to be in Karate Kid 2, but they decided to go to Okinawa instead.
Oh, okay. Really? What?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
Insider knowledge that's not insider.
Yeah. I'm just trying to make it better. That's all.
Okay. the fish was this big. So that was the thing that I hated most about.
You hated Allie's parents the most, huh?
Yeah. I know. Okay. Kind of small potatoes there. But
no, it's fine. I can understand that.
Now that we've entered all our firing trajectories into the tracking computer, Alice, do you have a firing solution for us?
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
E.T., you ready for your salvo authority?
Oh my gosh, it's salvo at the ready. Seriously, Paul.
I heard salvo authority.
Yeah, of course you did. Now, so it's time for the moment of truth with the Karate Kid. Do we rate this film a classic? We recommend anyone go out and see it, whether or not you've seen it before. A nostalgic, it's worth revisiting, rewatching. If you enjoyed it as a kid, watch it then. But if you've never seen it before, go watch something else. Or is it a tragic? We'd recommend no one go see this movie, whether or not you've seen it before. If you have good memories of it, don't sully those memories with a rewatch. So let's start with our guest, E.T. What is your final reign for The Karate Kid?
My final say-so here. Overall, The Karate Kid teaches important life lessons, perseverance, friendship, hard work, self-improvement, thus making it a classic and beloved movie for generations to come.
Very nice. Awesome. Paul, how about you?
Yeah, I can't top that, so I'm going to say classic too.
And as most of you are getting familiar now, the people that support us over on Locals, you all get a vote in these movies each time. And the people that voted there have also voted The Karate Kid a classic. So I guess my tragic reign doesn't mean anything. No, of course not. Of course not. That's me making stuff up, just like my co-host Paul here.
It's fabulous.
Fabulous.
I too rate The Karate Kid. Classic movie.
Wow.
It's enjoyable to watch pretty much every time I've seen it. So according to the Retro Rewind podcast, we rate The Karate Kid a unanimous, it's been a while, unanimous classic film.
Daniel-san, very good job.
Yes, very good job. Whether or not you've seen this, if you haven't seen this before, definitely worth your time. And if you have seen it before, worth your time to rewatch it. But now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
20XX?
Comsat online. Receiving incoming transmission.
Feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 1984 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, namely, what, Paul?
No, you said 4. So it was like 4.
Deborah Powers, Geek Devotions, Drew of the Cast, Ashley Ruiz, Kennethan, Fabulous Lomax, Rosie Lomax, That's Our Babo, D. Tungsten, Dale, Mr. Lost, Daryl Hafner, Cool Deluxe, Redeemed Otaku, in addition to 2 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us keep flying and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to start.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this stream is sponsored by PaulJPowers.com.
That's a BA name for a website.
PaulJPowers.com. All right. And while we're thinking people, we want to give a big martial arts hug, if there is such a thing, to Eric E.T. Trinidad for coming on and sharing his thoughts about the Karate Kid. So, E.T., where can people find you online? Is there anything cool you got going on? Or you want to stay hidden, ninja vanish?
Just out there on Facebook, just Eric Trinidad. And I do have another one. It's called ET80 Reels on Facebook. I in essence wanted it to be just anything with I just put my initials and the year I was born, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I could just call this everything 80s. So I'm like, all right, yeah. So I just started that up about a couple of weeks ago. So check me out.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on, ET. Good to get to reconnect with you.
Yeah, right. It was fun. It's been a while.
Yeah, and wow, Paul. And Paul, thank you so much for being another awesome. I don't know. You're not my sensei, sparring partner
there you go.
Of a friend. And thank you, all your rewinders, new or old, for another fun voyage.
You're welcome. You can find me, PaulJPowers.com at PaulJPowers.com.
Is that right? And you can find me for show announcements or just to say hi on our Discord. You can join there at retrorewindpodcast.com/Discord.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box, a curated collection of podcasts, videos, and articles that will provide you a balanced meal of content. You will find culture celebrated for its past and future, satirized for its extremes, explored in study, and created anew in story. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
And as Nathan just said, we are now part of the Culture Box Media Network. Find all the shows unpacking truth. There's not all the shows, like it's all encompassing, but all the shows that are there.
Ever. Yes.
Yeah, all the ones that found there are unpacking truth through story, comedy, and geekery at Culture Box Media. So
media.
Yes, that too. No, just just culturebox.media. So, Captain, I have an idea what we can do about Jared, who's making all these troubles for us.
Yeah, what's your idea?
Get him a body bag!
That's line.
That would be nice, Paul, but we can't do that because then he would just keep your mom entrapped forever.
That's right. We need to get my mom released. So maybe later. All right. Well, it looks like we have to wait for the next riddle to unlock then.
Indeed. Thank you, EXO, and thank you all for listening. Pray you're more joyful today than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we got to catch you for the next episode, which we need your help figuring out what that is. Again, listen to our ship's logs and let us know what you think the answer to the next riddle will be. And you can check that out on the next episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Fourth dimension of Doom mission complete. Decoding next riddle. View RRP ship's logs for more details.
Sayonara.
Sayonara. Good night. Hey, thanks again. I'll see you.